Here we go. Who do you see going out first here? How does the meta differ from PC to console?
Normally, a lot of people will try to synergize big area of effect ultimates on top of each other in console just to be able to win some of these team fights. But against these two teams, I'm expecting a lot of contention around jungle picks between Chaotic Purpose and El Chapo. Their god pool is very similar.
Very similar. They both love the Thor. They'll play the Susano. They love the Rat. Those global ultimates really, they like to gank early. So yeah, I'd like to see Thor maybe here. I know Chapo is not scared to first pick Ao Kuang either, so we could see the first pick Ao Kuang here.
Surprising target ban of the Soul from SoaR Gaming, trying to take that option away from Cameron and Baronic too, because they do flex that every now and then. Like you mentioned before, Ao Kuang, first pick of the day into the console.
Yeah, I was talking to Chapo and I said, aren't you scared of getting invaded? The Ao Kuang, you know, with his early game being so weak, he said, no, I'll play around it. Just give me Ao Kuang, I'll carry the game.
He always has backup plans no matter what, whether or not he plays aggressive. He's not going to play very aggressive in the early game with this Ao Kuang. Definitely, you want to be looking for plays once you get your third item online, you get the Polynomicon, and then you look for the plays. But like we mentioned before, now Zeus and Sylvanas for SoaR Gaming. Great circles now, trying to win these team fights.
Yeah, SoaR has a very aggressive mid comp right now. Zeus, Sylvanas, a lot of pressure in the mid lane. They're going to round it out with the Awilix, synergize as well with the Sylvanas knockup. And just big circles there, once again, for SoaR. You got the Scylla ult, circle, Odin ult, circle. Ao Kuang abilities, pretty hard to miss. So.
And more importantly, this Odin pick is trying to really shut down Baronic in the mid lane, right? You don't want to let him get off. I think Zeus is probably like one of his top 3 picks.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And that Odin will obviously nullify the Sylvanas healing as well. Won't be able to heal in the ring. So a good counter there.
So I like the bans already from SoaR, their secondary phases. They banned away the Ymir and the Ares, trying to take away some Guardians from El Brochacho. But this Odin could easily go to him as well.
Yeah, Brochacho has one of the most unique god pools of all the supports. He can play a lot of weird stuff, but he also play a lot of the things that are in the meta. So you can't really hope to ban him out, but they want to take away. They obviously don't want to see his Ymir or his Ares. Both gods he's very strong with, so I like the bans there from SoaR.
And now Neith and Hui from SoaR trying to target away from Cameron, but we haven't really seen much Neith from him, I'm expecting.
No, not. He did play it a lot earlier in the season, but he's been favoring the Soul. You know, we saw the On Her. But yeah, hasn't played Neith in a while, so, but still a good ban, you know, get the global out of there. They don't want to deal with that global presence, so I like it.
I like the option though, because I think that those 2 bans specifically was taking away hunters that could get out of that Odin cage more than anything else, which forces Cameron into a round, which is great late game, obviously, with his damage and his steroid for attack speed, but he can't get out of that Odin cage.
You can tell it's late because he's hovering over that Cupid. It might be delirious. And he went for it.
Stormy Rays.
Got the baby.
Stormy Rays loves Cupid.
I take it back. I take it back. I'm wrong. Please, I'm not an idiot, please.
When talking to Stormy Rays, he said, I'm not scared to play the Cupid. I love Cupid. It synergizes decently with the Odin ring. You get the Odin ring into the Cupid ult, and that's something he's comfortable on. So we'll see how it works out here.
And now with Guan Yu being locked in for SoaR, it doesn't matter what god Brochacho is, whether it's Guan Yu or the Odin, that laning phase, the dual lane for SoaR is going to be very aggressive with that Cupid.
Yeah, very aggressive. They have Guan Yu, Odin both having pretty good early clears, so they should. Well, Sylvanas has a good early clear too, but you would expect the Cupid, Odin, Cupid, Guan to outpush them just by a bit.
And now Dr. L locking in Osiris, last pick for SoaR. Trying to figure out whether or not it's going to be the Odin or the Guan Yu, but I like the option. He could use the ultimate both offensively or defensively just to get away from the cage. He's going to be able to limit the healing, so it's going to negate some of the hearts from the Cupid, and it's going to be a big bully overall. I really wouldn't want to see Uzi play the Guan Yu against Osiris here.
Yeah, Odin would probably be the better pick in this matchup, and also I'm interested to see here, Osiris Awilix. Very strong invade, very strong level 1. So I'm excited to see. I can almost guarantee they're going to invade. So we'll see how SoaR responds to that.
You cannot allow El Chapo to get off any sort of start or momentum. So that wouldn't be a bad idea coming out of SoaR Gaming. Trying to invade against El Chapo, maybe take away his speed buff, or at least prevent him from getting his own speed buff and delay all the timers.
Yeah, any way you can put this Ao Kuang behind is going to be great, because if Chapo gets ahead, especially on Ao Kuang, it's bad news.
Well, it's going to be a interesting 3 games here, potentially. Guys, who do you have going real quick?
I think that SoaR is going to be able to take this one. I really like the Odin pick against the composition from SoaR.
I'm going with SoaR.
SoaR. All right, there you have it. The desk is unified. Let's go ahead and get ready to send it off to our casters for our first matchup here and on stage at the Hi-Rez Expo. Take it away, guys.
Thank you, Golden Boy. My name is Tiger, joined with Aggro and Trixtank, ready to close out your night with our first semi match for Xbox. We got SoaR Gaming versus SWC. How are you guys feeling about this tonight?
I'm ready to go. I've been ready for so long. I was so excited about this match all day. Unfortunate delays, but now that we're here, we're just there to build anticipation, you know, just get us even more ready.
Yeah, it's my first Xbox game casting, so I'm super excited for this game.
It's going to be absolutely fantastic. Both of these teams have quite some big personalities. Good bit of history coming out there too. Quite a few familiar names for Aggro here.
Yeah, my former teammates, you know. I was teammates with Uzi, Chapo, Brochacho. I know a lot of the guys on SoaR. Kenshin's been around for a long time. I've gotten to know a couple of those guys as well. So, I mean, these are the teams that deserve to be here along with Eager and Allegiance that we'll see tomorrow evening. Really excited to see these two get at it.
Yeah, and you've been saying that Chapo is like one of the big personalities onto SoaR Gaming, so him being on a hyper carry might be really good for SoaR.
Very, very well could be, but I'm worried about this invade early on for SoaR, just because of how aggressive that right side of the map is. We heard Anatoly talk about it there. Willish Osiris, a great invade composition.
Yeah, and I really like the Willish pick overall coming out for SoaR. It counters the Scylla, it counters the Odin, but also gives a lot of pressure onto the Kwang in the early game.
And that's very difficult to play the Odin up against that Willish, because your main source of damage, that Bird Bomb, is completely negated by Gravity Surge. Like you said, I like the Odin pick, but at the same time, the fact that Willish was open, I love the draft from SoaR.
This seems like such a messy start already, and it looks like Brochacho already off by himself. Almost got caught between 4 members of SoaR. Got his hind kicked a little bit there, but gonna go ahead and back off.
Forced to get his dash there as well, and that's very important because Guan is very reliant on that Talu Assault in the early game to help clear the wave, to help clear the buffs. And Trix, you can talk to me. You play a lot of Guan Yu support. Do you get the dash at level 2, or you usually elect for that heal?
Oh, I usually get the heal when I'm in lane, but sometimes if I want to go aggressive, I take the 2. Having his 2 in the start here is not the end of the world, though.
Looking at all these wards just peppered across the map, that's exactly what they wanted to get around, get some vision. What are these going to give them? Just
information, and you can see exactly what they're looking for. You can see Dr. L, along with Chaotic Purpose, coming around this right-hand side looking for the invade, but SoaR was ready for it. Brochacho is there with them, and they're going to the other side.
And we've seen this a lot from the PC as well. Whenever they invade the enemy team invades the speed buff, they go straight for the blue buff. Really smart play.
They're just going to trade off, but it looks like it's going to get 2 buffs for SoaR down on the enemy side. So we're only going to be able to leave with 1, unfortunately.
And that's really big for SoaR. They do lose the left side mid camps to the rest of SoaR, but like you said, Tiger, 2 for 1 as far as the buffs go, and you expect with the clear that they have, both in the middle lane and on the right-hand side, that it'll be very easy for SoaR to go in and secure their own speed buff. Really no danger of losing that.
And on this right side of the map, they're free to go ahead and take out these mid camps and fire elementals as well, which is huge. It's just every little bit counts, especially in this beginning of the game. SoaR is slowly ticking forward.
But I think SoaR just want to slow pace this game. They don't want to give kills up. They don't want to give too much up. They just want to stay kind of equal because they have a really late game oriented team comp. So I just think they're going to go late game here.
Their late game maybe with the team comp, but what about their play style? This is kind of different from what we've seen SoaR throughout the past.
These are very experienced players, and they're very momentum based on SoaR. There's no doubt about that, but they don't need to get a first blood in the first minute and a half. That's not the way they work. They're very comfortable waiting until the mid game, understanding their team composition. That's something that they've improved at greatly during this season, is playing to their team comp strengths. And that's what I like about this draft, is that they've got a nice balance of late and early game. It's mostly late. You've got the Scylla, you've got the Ao Kuang, but you've also got some early game there. You've got the Odin, which has great clear, and you've got the Cupid in the duo lane.
Cameron almost barely missing that heart bomb. That would have really hurt. Instead, SoaR just putting on the pressure. We didn't really see that in the early game, but now we're starting to see that in the duo.
So talk to me about this roaming support sort of meta, Trix. How do you know where you want to be whenever you're not sitting in the duo lane, right?
I haven't played the support meta too much, but what I've seen is basically support running around with the mid lane, trying to keep him safe, clearing the wave. But hold that thought.
Yeah, here on the left-hand side, Cameron eats the heart bomb, gonna eat the stun as well, but knows he's not in too much danger, saves that purification. A lot of pressure being put on this left-hand side, trying to keep this hyper carry ROM down. Like I said, Cupid, early game god, can try and make plays. I like the fact that Brochacho is spending some time over there.
Cupid might be an early game god overall, but then again, Rama have the better clear, so I think overall this lane is going to go straight to the Rama, and I'm going to be scared of the Rama, whether he's going to out-rotate the Cupid, so they're going to look for that.
Looking for the rotations here. Already seeing a 3-man rotation back over to these Fire Elementals. AWARE putting a lot of priority on these little camps, the mid Harpies as well as the Fire Elementals.
Chaotic Purpose now hitting level 5, a little bit ahead of Chapo, but this is the experience of SoaR paying off. They understand exactly where AWARE is going to be. The Gold Fury's open. No one's even coming to check it. This is going to go the way of SoaR.
The wards have just gone down. They know because they had put some down at the same exact time. There's no vision. There was no chance for AWARE to even come close to try and stop that.
Just a great call by SoaR overall. They have no Hawk, and they still did it because they knew they had no vision whatsoever.
But the problem with this is that they aren't going to be here to defend this speed buff. Uzi in a ton of trouble on the right-hand side. Not going to be able to jump because of Chaotic Purpose. Pulled back in, and Baronic able to pick up the first blood.
First blood going to AWARE 3 minutes and 30 seconds into the game.
So that's the thing I want to talk about. Doing the goal free so early, you're not going to get too much gold. So actually giving up your whole right side, it's not worth getting a goal free for because you're going to get more control by not having it.
Exactly. By giving up 2 buffs, it's actually worth more gold because it's a swing, right? You think on paper you're guaranteed your own buffs, but by taking away the enemy teams, it's a double swing in your favor as far as gold goes. Whereas the Gold Fury, that's up in the air. You're not really counting on that gold going into your pocket.
And meanwhile, doing the goal free, you don't really get any pressure on the map. So meanwhile, they're doing the goal free, AWARE can just take all the pressure on the map.
Now, how are SoaR going to be able to reinstate that pressure? They had a little bit, but they completely lost it after that mix-up on the left side.
I think that we could see Uzi make a rotation towards the middle lane and look to really pick off Kenshin on that Sylvanas. In fact, Kenshin hasn't even backed yet. Neither has Baronic. If Uzi's able to make a rotation into the middle lane and get that cage down, make sure that Kenshin's got nowhere to go, Kenshin does have that shell, and that's going to come in big. He's going to look to use that as soon as he gets caged, because otherwise he's stuck in there. You know, he's got nowhere to go.
Speaking of stuck, that was almost an issue for Dr. L, but going to be away just fine. Does notice rotations coming out from SoaR. They're going to try to break this pattern that AWARE had by starting to take these buffs for themselves.
AWARE needs to start playing a little bit more aggressive because they're just getting online so soon, and so they need to put the pressure on. I think that Willix needs to go to the solo lane and try to kill this Odin because he's trying to counter him, and he have no beats.
Exactly. I agree with you, Trix. Seeing Chaotic Purpose make a rotation to this right-hand side would be very well timed at this stage because Odin has absolutely no additional defense, and he has to jump to clear the wave or run away from you. So you can have that pressure.
Uzi already feeling the pressure himself, forced to use the cage, but here comes Alquan coming in, the beautiful jump coming out from the ultimate as well. Now Chapo may be in a bit more of an issue than he first thought. Not able to follow up with the execute, but Brochacho coming in with the win as well as Baronic taking out Chapo in the back line.
Brochacho running for his life right now, pops the meditation. Shalibur's here to support, but what a great ultimate from Dr. L, using Lord of the Afterlife as a pseudo purification, able to get out of that execute, knew exactly when Chapo was going to go for it, and goes towards his team, not towards his tower. Baits him into the jungle where Kenshin and Baronic are waiting for him.
Yeah, he bought exactly enough time to get that counter kill, and that was really good. Also, I want to talk about the Guan Yu pick because it's so good against AWARE here. It can run down the Zeus, it can run down the Sylvanas, so I think we're going to see SoaR Gaming trying to run down one of these picks.
Do you like the pickup of the reinforced Greaves here for Guan Yu? Because usually you see that when you see a lot of like Kabrakins, Athenas, the chain CC sort of compositions, which AWARE, this doesn't really fit that.
I mean, you know me, I go Bluestone and Warrior Tappy sort of thing. I'm
You're there
really
to do damage.
That. But it is overall really good. They have high damage with the Zeus, a Willix early game, so getting that extra protection early is really good for him.
That's a really good point. I didn't think about that. Plus, you're stacking the passive of the reinforced Greaves off of Wisps and Wrath of Terra from Sylvanas.
Shalibur may be stuck, but Rom in the air looking for the shots. Cameron just trying to buy himself some time and then dash away. Meanwhile, on the other side, Baronic able to find a kill onto Brochacho, and now the pack of AWARE backing off, and Cameron still putting on the juke shoes, but not very tight.
Stormy Ray is playing this lane very aggressively, but some mistimed aggression on the right-hand side. Another speed buff going the way of Aware. Chapo hasn't gotten a single one yet this game.
And the reason why the Cupid can play so aggressive in the lane is because he went straight into boots, and the Rama is still stacking. So whenever the Rama is gets his stacks rolling, I think he'll be able to contest the Cupid.
Yeah, the fact that he rushed those Devourer's Gauntlets is definitely a play that just tells me that Cameron's just waiting out this laning phase. He's going for the later stages of the game, whereas you see that Stormy Rays, and I like this option from him, has gone directly for that Ninja Tabi. Also looking a little bit towards the late game, but not holding off quite as much. He's got that extra mobility, he's got that extra damage, but he's not going for the full damage option in the early game. He's saving a little bit, getting that extra attack speed for the later stages.
Now Aware, they had a really great split, but not so good at land. Meanwhile, SoaR, they are complete lanimals. They showed up, but what's happening right here? It's almost like a switch.
This is what you expect whenever you draft a late game composition against a heavy pressure comp like Aware has. Yes, SoaR is losing, but I feel like they're still in an okay spot.
I was also talking to Aware, and them being the underdogs, I think they really like that because they're going in with no pressure, so they can just play calmly, play like they do online, and that's what they're doing.
That's exactly how Aware has played all year. I mean, no one's expected them to do as well as they have, but they've been able to consistently exceed expectations. They're comfortable in this underdog role. Remember, this is a team that came out of Challenger Cup this year. They weren't even a team whenever I was playing in the summer split. This wasn't a thing. It was only in the fall split.
Cavalry charge coming through. Crush is going to have a nice bit of damage. I'm a monster coming through. ShadowLurr finding what hit, maybe turning around this corner, looking for two, not going to find the damage.
Perfectly timed purification there from Baronic, but it didn't matter. ShadowLurr on the mark with that Scylla ultimate. This is a character that he's very comfortable on.
Looking very comfortable now. Nice pull coming into the tower. The Wisp going to get a little bit of damage over time, but not enough to make anybody worry quite yet.
Stormy Rays trades ult again with Cameron. That's been his game plan, and this is what we've seen from Stormy Rays consistently whenever he's playing this Cupid. He ults you off cooldown every single time.
Stormy has the pressure right now, and he keeps forcing the Rama's ult. I don't know why Chapo ain't ganking it. He should really do that soon.
Yeah, not a whole lot of wards on the left-hand side either. You see some bottom side, but if Chapo's able to go over the top of the Gold Fury, you could definitely make an impact. But now that Cameron's about to hit level 12, he'll have that Sanctuary up soon.
We're rotating over, starting up this Gold Fury, but it looks like he has been spotted out by Brochacho. 4 members here of Aware, and they're keeping him at bay for a good bit, but Gold Fury is going to go ahead and get leashed. Nice pull. Brochacho jumped into the air with that knock-up, and Cameron able to find that last hit.
Kenshin has been on point with these pulls so far this game, setting up for his team. 2 ultimates used, though, to find the support. Kenshin in some trouble because Chapo gets executed above the Gold Fury.
I don't care how much HP you have, how tanky you are, if you are within that threshold, you are gone, and so is Baronic. Double kill coming out for Chapo.
Cameron in a lot of trouble as well. Purification used to avoid the stun from the Heart Bomb. 2 kills go the way of the jungler.
And I mean, I feel with the Sylvanas right now, Kenshin, I hate Ao Kwang so much because you're the only character in the game that doesn't have a beat, so you just basically have to die every time.
Oh, Uzi is able to actually secure Chapo a speed buff as well. Gonna be able to get away from Dr. L. Dr. L had the Wrath, but mistimed it a little bit there.
By the skin of his teeth for sure, but this does open up the left side of the map. SoaR able to burn down this Gold Fury very quickly. Nobody even nearby to try and contest. SoaR Gaming taking it up. Cameron not quick enough with that ult.
It seemed like SoaR was using a little bit too much there to use Cupid ult and Scylla ult, but it turns out that that was exactly the right amount because Cameron definitely could have stolen that.
Better safe than sorry right there. They knew they had it warded, so they just wanted to take it quick. I think it was just fine.
Looking very nice, but so far 10 minutes and 45 seconds, 4-4, read the kills. SoaR looking for that momentum. Like you mentioned, they live off of this energy and this momentum, and this is a great upswing for them.
And the fact that Chapo hasn't even picked up one of his speed buffs yet, he lost the first 3, and Uzi was able to steal one away. Oh, Uzi's in a little bit of trouble here. Remember, he cannot jump away from Chaotic Purpose. Look at him, he knows he's got nothing to do right now. Uses the cage just to buy him some space. Lord of the Afterlife comes in. He's still alive for now.
He's still losing that health, though, and relatively quickly, Dr. L does not have enough mana to make this damage happen. Gonna get pulled back with the jump. A Wheelish with the save. Baronic gonna find ShadowLurr. Chacho gonna be able to find Baronic. Chapo looking very low, but able to probably get away.
The meditation there coming in huge for Brochacho. 1 kill, 2 kills each actually on each side. Baronic really well-placed ultimate there, was able to find the kill on the Shaliber, who didn't have his ultimate available.
It was
still.
so sweet because Chapo actually used his stealth behind the enemy so he could actually backstab them whenever they focus on another target. Really well played.
Very, very heads-up play there, because if he uses Water Illusion backwards towards his tower, he gets hit by that Chain Lightning from Zeus, and then none of that fight really goes well for SoaR. They're playing very, very well, even with the early deficit that they got.
On paper, that was an equal fight, but then you take into the fact that Stormy just took down an enemy tower, and that definitely goes into the favor of SoaR. That's a lot more pressure on the map, and AWARE are not going to have that safe space to fall back to in these Gold Fury fights.
And that's important because we've seen how much pressure that Stormy Raze has been putting on Cameron this entire time, and then Cameron finally says, all right, enough, I'm sick of getting Cupid ulted, I'm going to rotate to this fight, and then you lose your tower because of it. And if Chapo's going to be coming over there to gank anytime soon, it's going to be even harder for Cameron to get away.
Absolutely. 12 minutes, 34 seconds, still 6-6, but seeing a lot more pressure coming out from SoaR. Good vision as well, peppered across the map. We saw that since the beginning. I'm glad to see that transfer through to this mid-game stage.
And you could see the fact that Baronic is going for this more defensive-oriented build that we usually see on Zeus, and I really like that idea from him. Going for a Winged Blade to get that extra HP. It's a very cost-efficient, cheap item, and then also immune the slows, and there's a lot of them. Stormy Raze has 2 in his kit on that Cupid. You got the slow from the dash from Guan Yu, as well as a slow from Crush could get you out of some sticky situations.
Oh yeah, and we haven't talked about the fact that Kwang have 2 kills already. He's at the mid-game stage, he's soon online. This is good. This doesn't look good for AWARE, and Kwang being like ahead in the mid-game is just horrible.
The players to watch on these teams, as we've seen every video asked you, it's all been about the junglers. We've seen Chapo in this game. Chaotic Purpose has a couple of good plays, but so far, why haven't we seen him as much?
Well, we've seen him on the top of the net worth charts, and that's what's important at this stage of the game. He's done a great job of being on time for Chapo's buffs. He's the one who's making a lot of the shot calls as well. Following up on Kenshin, it's really those two is the dynamic there as far as communication goes on the team. So even though he might not be making the flashier plays, he's been a part of 5 AWARE 6 kills, and he's been on point with his invades as well.
I also think it's the fact that it's on land stage, so he's like playing a little bit more passive than he would on online. So right now he's just trying to get the flow and getting in the game. He's still playing really well. He is on top of the net worth, so he is doing something right.
Plus, during the SCL Fall Finals, remember, it was actually Baronic who came up and was the big name player for AWARE. Chaotic Purpose at his LAN debut didn't have a bad LAN by any stretch of the imagination, but it wasn't the level of play we saw from him online. It was really Baronic that stood out to me and to a lot of other people. So no surprise to see Baronic have 4 of the 6 kills for AWARE.
And he's on his namesake god. His AWARE opening up in that first week, they absolutely destroyed with Zeus. So it's very surprising to let him get Zeus, but to give Chapo Kwang.
Yeah, this is a lot of comfort picks across the board. Brochacho loves to play Guan. Uzi loves to play Odin. Shaliber on Scylla is like his god, basically, along with Zhang Kui. So, yeah, a lot of comfort picks on both sides. Cameron has played a decent amount of ROM. We talked about on the analyst desk the fact that Dr. L really likes these high-pressure gods in the solo lane. Osiris definitely fits that bill.
We've seen a lot of pressure coming out from both teams. It's been pretty even in these trade-offs, give 1 or 2, but which team and what do they need to do to take that first step forward?
I mean, right now, AWARE is behind, and if they're going to keep playing like this, SoaR's going to take it when they come later in the game. What AWARE needs to do right now is look at the map, look at the gods, who can they gank? They can gank their Odin, and that's what I think they should do right now.
They're definitely going to try and at least do something over in the solo lane, but Dr. L is on the receiving end of that pain with 3 members. He's within execute range. Going to be a nice, tasty snack for the Dragon.
Ozzy in some trouble, though, from Chaotic Purpose. The shell was beautiful from El Brochacho, though. Chaotic Purpose on the run this time, trying to get away from 3 members of SoaR.
Got to be careful with those tower shots, though. One more, the Feather Step going to be good on the Shad, the Water Clone. It popped, taking out the Awilish.
And this is why Kwang is so good in the jungle as well, because every single game, the solo laner would always build physical protection first because he's against the physical, and then the Kwang can come and be like, eat all my damage.
And that's very surprising that we see, hold that thought, ultimates, again, being traded out in the duo lane. We've seen this time after time. That's I don't even know why I stopped talking anymore. I should just ignore it, because that's what happens every time. But you see Dr. L go for this Winged Blade 3rd item instead of magical protection. The extra HP helps, but it's not as effective as that magical protection.
Is this about to happen again?
It could. Shaliber up into the ult. I'm a monster along with Uzi having that Wrath. It actually wasn't even up, but they get another Gold Fury.
And we're just giving SoaR the lead right now. They need to get the control on the Gold Fury. They need to have the timer this time to make sure that they can contest it when it's up again.
One of the things that made AWARE so impressive to me early on was their team play, and we're just not seeing it here right now. Chaotic Purpose rotates to help Dr. L during the gank, and then where are Baronic? Where's Kenshin? They dove Chaotic Purpose under that tier 1 tower. That was an extended engagement that no one came to help out their jungler. Very surprising that we don't see AWARE play like their normal selves.
I don't know where that is, but I do know where Brochacho is, dashing away to try to get away from Kenshin, who almost got pinched between 3 members of AWARE Gaming. They're going to trade off these mid-harpies and then back off once again.
And I love the way El Brochacho is playing right now. He's sort of playing like me. He doesn't build like me, but that's all right. But he's playing so aggressive. He's up in their face, saying, I'm here, damage me. If they engage on him, well, then there's an Ao Kuang, there's a Scylla to follow up on it. So he's just playing really great right now.
And I can tell you from playing with him, his sorts of comms are, yo, I'm gonna bait myself right now. I'm gonna let them use a bunch of abilities on me, wait for their cooldowns, and then go in. And he's done a great job of that, like you mentioned. And plus, we saw him do the defensive option of using the shell to save Uzi's life on that right-hand side, preventing the trade out there after that gank onto Dr. L.
And that's the best time to strike, because we've seen these team fights that have gone in SoaR's way go because of that bait and switch. AWARE blow everything that they have, thinking they're going to be able to turn this team fight around, and then SoaR just come on and one-up them.
Very surprised to see as many wing blades as we do. I mean, I already talked about Dr. L's. I like it on Baronic, but then another one for Kenshin on this Sylvanas. And the big thing to me is no sprint up against a Cupid ult. That's the best thing against Cupid ult, is just immuning that slow. It makes it pretty much irrelevant if you can time it correctly. Instead, electing for this blink, is that what you would have gone for?
I mean, I would have gone for the blink as well, but it's kind of tricky in this situation because I think we probably wouldn't have got Huck in the soul lane, but whatever. Overall, like, they need that engage in the Sylvanas to get the one shot on the Scylla, on the Ao Kuang or whatever. Otherwise, they're not going to get the proper engage on the team because that's the only engage they have.
But if that's the case, I think I would have liked to see Dr. L pick up that sprint instead of teleport. Sure, you lose a lot of global rotation ability, but you need that. I feel like you need that sprint in this matchup.
Aggression to the max onto Cameron, forced into the barrage, but as soon as he comes down, he does have an angry dragon waiting for him. That's going to be the Aegis, so he's not going to be able to take him down, and instead Cameron's going to be able to get away. I'm a monster, going to whiff, not going to be able to take any of these gods' lives. The crush, not enough, but Chapo will be.
Sniped out by the dragon call. A lot of mistimed abilities lead to Cameron's escape, but Uzi now teleports in here to support. Chaotic Purpose is in base, so he's allowed to jump, and the tier 1 tower in mid is looking mighty tasty for SoaR.
I'm sorry to say it, but I think SoaR's going to win this game. SoaR literally missed every single ability, and they still won that fight, and it was a 4v4, like straight up.
And again, it's just the positioning from AWARE, not being around their teammates. Cameron's walking by himself towards the back. Chaotic Purpose used the gravity surge and didn't find a home. Uzi just baited him. He jumped in place instead of jumping at them like they were expecting.
Absolutely baited. Now Uzi jumping in aggressively this time. Here comes the cage, trapping 4 on the inside. Meanwhile, the rest of the team hammers away at the tower, and AWARE can do absolutely nothing.
That's got to be so demoralizing. Like, expecting Uzi to jump in and cage there, Chaotic Purpose pops the ultimate, but Uzi didn't come any closer. You know, if you know Uzi, he's just giggling right now. He's got this great giggle. You know he's doing it right now, and Chaotic Purpose then eats a crush, and then the tier 2 tower falls because of it. The team play that I expected from AWARE, we're really seeing more from SoaR. They're grouping very, very well. They're using their defensive relics well as well, and so it's really easy for them to kind of snowball this lead. Even with this late game composition, they've been in control for the last few minutes.
We're not seeing some of the early snowballs that we're used to coming out from SoaR, but I'm loving the smart plays. It's just sometimes having to just hold back. You want to make these kills happen, but you got to do it smart, even if it takes a little bit more time.
SoaR have been so aware of the goal for control, whether they had wards or not, and that's why they've been taking those two goal furies, and that's done a lot for them.
And that's exactly.
Oh, I meant SoaR.
No, SoaR have been so aware.
They've been aware.
Oh.
It's a pun. Yeah, you're on a cast with me and Tiger. Like, you're gonna get a pun here and there. I really expect that Gold Fury control to continue for SoaR. 21 minutes in, you've got a lot of levels, you've got a lot of items, but it's still risky to go to the Fire Giant. You're only up about 8.5, 9K. And while that's certainly a ton at this stage in the game, there's no reason to make that risky call at Fire Giant. I would really prefer to see SoaR get more ward coverage on that Gold Fury and go for it again.
We see the anti-lead getting picked up by Chaotic and Dr. well, and I really like that because the Guan Yu combat heal is so big. With the meditation as well, having that healing reduction is going to do a lot for them in team fights.
And you can see Brochacho not even leveling his ultimate past the first point. He's been really focused on getting that heal up, as well as that increased damage off the dash.
But here comes that ultimate you were talking about. Cavalry charge, looking for the stun, not gonna find it, but does force out the Terra's Wrath. A nice stun coming through, but the Fields of Love as well as the cage gonna trap them all inside. Stormy gonna be able to get out before he takes too much damage, but Kenshin can't say the same for him.
Cameron rolling forward, looking for Shaliver. He has the extra movement speed from I'm a Monster, actually pulls the Gold Fury. Cameron nowhere to find him.
Cameron, what happened? He's got the heart bomb on him now. 4 members, there he goes. Goodbye. Uzi gonna fall to Chaotic Purpose, but we all know what happened there. That was Cameron, sorry dude.
That was brutal. Can't find the auto attack. Shaliver hides behind the Gold Fury and then roots him in the pit. Veronic here by himself trying to contest this Gold Fury. He's gonna get chased down here by Chapo.
There's nothing he can do. He has no escape. There went his relics. He was facing certain death anyway. Why prolong it? Now the rest of his team is getting obliterated.
So sad about BioWare. They should just give that up, basically. They were 3 versus 4. There was no way they were going to win that. Kwang still had his ult up. Just leave that.
And now, if you're Zeus, sure, you're dead for the next 30 seconds, which is sad already, but whenever you respawn, you've got no relics. You are food for Kwang.
And SoaR for sure is going to take advantage of that. They're going to look for that Zeus immediately. Whenever the Guan Yu is going to sees him, he's going to get run down.
I mean, to me, Trix, just looking at the overall arc of this game, it's just very clear to me that SoaR have a lot of seasoned veterans on their team, and Aware is still trying to find their way. Like I mentioned, 4 rookies on this squad, and you can see the experience from SoaR, the Gold Fury control, the just movement around the map as well.
Yeah, I feel like Aware is playing their combo way too passive in the start of the game. They played really passive and waited for SoaR to do whatever they wanted, and that's just really bad when you have like Sylvanos, Willix, Zeus on the team, which is really early game based, and Osiris even.
Yes.
As a player, just coming into that mentality, is it because you're here at Worlds, there's so much on the line, there's so much at stake?
When you're on a big stage, you always get more nervous. There's more on the line, so you want to make sure you don't do any dumb stuff. But in that process, like you need to just do whatever you normally do, you know?
And that's the hardest part, is just playing like it's any other game. It's so hard to do in front of a huge crowd here at the Cobb Energy Center. I mean, it is just difficult to kind of push that out of your mind, but that's what you have to do. You have to play like you're at home in your, boxers or whatever that you normally play in.
SoaR doing a good job of keeping calm and keeping controlled here. Gonna be able to take down the Fire Giant. Here he comes, Chaotic Purpose, gonna get ulted up, but not executed. Suku gonna help him get away, but Chapo sticking to him like glue with that speed buff. Here comes the rest of the team.
Sanctuary used, it's not gonna matter. Shaliver picks up the 14th kill for SoaR. 5 members with Fire Giant, they've got the Guan Yu healing. This tier 2 tower doesn't stand a chance.
There is nothing else on the map except for 1 tower and 3 Phoenixes. That's it. Aware keep getting outclassed in these team fights. It's a really cliche question, but what can Aware do?
I mean, right now, there's nothing they're going to do. Kwang is so big. He's going to be able to run through everybody and kill whoever he wants to at this point. So it's just not good for them.
You have to hope that Chapo gets a little too excited, dives your Phoenix, dives your Fountain, dives your Titan, and then you can kind of make a play after that. But it's Cameron who's eaten the plays from Chapo. Chaotic Purpose still waiting to respawn, and Cameron just waiting to come down.
The aggression is to the max when it comes to SoaR, able to just bait Cameron to keep running away, and Chapo and Uzi able to double team him down and get 1 more statistic for SoaR. Fields of Love coming down, Chacho jumping in deep as well with the ultimate. Phoenix has fallen, Cage has come up.
And now right Phoenix already down, middle Phoenix being looked at next by SoaR. Remember, they've got the healing from Guan Yu as well as the regen available to them from the Fire Giant buff. Uzi just zoning 3 people by himself in their Titan room.
Yeah, I mean, this is where Guan Yu's healing is going to really pay off. He still has the meditation, so there's so much to stay on the side of SoaR.
I like when people use structures to their advantage. That cage didn't actually stop anybody inside, but it stopped them from trying to come back in and stop the onslaught onto the Phoenix. They're able to secure that bird without any other hassle. The last tower has fallen. They were able to take 2 Phoenixes in the process, and now nothing stopping SoaR from just going through this jungle with a fine-tooth comb.
And just look at the gold in hand right now for SoaR. You've got most people around 2,000 gold, just backing, spending that up, and they're going to be pushing down this left-hand side immediately. And if you're aware, Trix, I mean, we've all been in situations like this where you know this game is all but over. You got to be thinking about the next game, right?
because when you're 10K down, we usually say we need a miracle or we're probably going to lose this game. So yeah, you don't want to think about the next game. You want to focus and see if you can get a turnaround. But at this point, I don't think they can, but just, you know, get this game over with.
We hear a lot of players talk about how, when you, I mean, 10K maybe not, but you're sitting down 13K, 2 Phoenixes down,
Yeah.
everyone's got Fire Giant. They start talking about, okay, what went wrong this game? What can we do for the next game? Maybe
Exactly.
the picks, anything like that. Is that what you guys would usually do?
We usually like say, what have we done wrong to be in this position? Because now when it's fresh, you're still in the game, you can get it out immediately, and then you don't do it the next game, hopefully.
And then Funball says, it's all you guys, I'm perfect.
Yeah,
you guys are all
exactly.
idiots, and you
What
guys
are you guys
need to play
doing?
better.
Team, please.
Yeah.
It's just easy banter, right?
Right. He said that after, but I don't know.
One Phoenix remaining. SoaR knocking at the throne room. The Firebird is standing there just waiting to go ahead and try to get some action in. SoaR playing a little frisky, backing off for now, waiting for Aware to come out. They want these kills and they want to secure this victory.
Chop, I've been in this situation a million times. To Choppa, hold that thought. Kenshin able to be there, use that ultimate, but it's not going to be enough. I'm a Monster comes down, gets good damage. There goes Kenshin.
Follow it up with the Crush. Caliber getting credit for the kill, but Zeus dishing out some hardy damage. Cameron with the snipe. Second hit coming through, able to take out the enemy Cupid. The jumps are going to be real, but so is the Crush. Caliber finding another kill in this gigantic team fight. Chapo popping the beads. Must have been a misclick, but it doesn't matter. Dr. L is down.
Chaotic Purpose is able to find Caliber. That's 2 dead and 2 big damage dealers, but the problem is that minions are going to do it all by themselves. SoaR Gaming take